Welcome everyone, you're listening to and perhaps watching Hot Sauce Sports. I'm your host, Peeze Del Rees. I am of course joined by my co-host, Terry Tam. And if the juice don't look like this, I forgot what I was gonna say.
What the fuck? What is that?
Never mind.
No eagle today.
No eagle.
And we're paying.
That's why. See, like, it throws me off when someone's not here. Then I miss all my references. I miss all my jokes.
At least now we can see Duke when he talks.
Yeah.
Duke.
Yes, I'm here.
Turn your mic on when you talk, please.
It is on. No. Press it. There you go. Now it's on.
Am I on? You hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Now you're good.
How's it going, buddy?
I hear double. I don't know why it's freaking me out.
Thanks to you and Duke for manning the ship last week.
It was a shit show.
What do you guys use for shaving?
I have a trimmer that I have. I just go down and then.
You don't use an actual like handheld razor?
No, never. Not never. Because I hate looking clean shaven. So I just trim down to like a little bit and then I let it grow.
I have a clipper to get like the beard and stuff in place. I've been using like sort of those discount cartridges from a company that you order online, who we won't mention because they're not a sponsor.
Oh, Dollar Shave Club.
Who I won't mention because they're not a sponsor. Now they owe us money because that's how that works. Duke, what do you do for shaving?
I have an old razor that doesn't really work, and I have to smack it against the table to make sure it works. It's a really old razor, and I have some
It's
really
electric
old razor
or-
blades, and I have a small bottle of shaving cream. I'm basically a barbarian when I shave.
There you go.
I've been looking to get into
Don't
safety.
don't
razor.
ask me if I share it if it goes anywhere else but my beard. But
I assume it does. Actually, one of my favorite moments of my childhood was walking by when I saw Duke shaving his face with a razor that I used only for my pubes. Only for my pubes.
I mean, you just shower after, whatever.
So one time I wanted to play a trick on my brother, so I pissed in the shampoo bottle. It was empty, so I pissed in it, hoping that he would use it. The next person in the shower wasn't my brother.
Was it you?
It was my mother.
Oh, that was worse. The
Fuck you,
Patriots
Duke.
keep producing wide receivers. They trade for one, but the breaking news that happened just before this show was they've put Josh Gordon on IR.
I guess we kind of knew he was going to be out for a longer time since they gave up what they gave up for Mosanu.
Well, so here's the thing. We'll talk about the Mosanu part of it in a second. But to start with, when it comes to Josh Gordon, people are saying failed drug test. However, if he failed a
You
drug
can't be
test,
put on the IR if you fail the drug test.
well, because it's an insurance issue, you can't lie about injuries because the team is still. First of all, they can void his contract
It just sucks
if he fails a drug test.
It sucks that that's the perception of him, you know?
Well, I mean,
it's
it's
weed.
unfortunate, but it is a reputation he's built for himself. And
It's weed.
what?
It's weed.
it wasn't just weed.
It wasn't just weed.
Actually, the worst of all offenses was that he had a drink on a plane once, and you got a piss test right after. And in the NFL, just that when you're under the microscope, it'll
Yeah, you can't even have alcohol when you're on the.
because when you're in
Oh, so
that
it's
drug
alcohol.
policy-
No, he
it
admitted to the first time he took cocaine being at 11 years old.
Okay, I knew
Yeah.
that, yeah.
So I mean, like,
Sorry.
he's had addiction issues.
I just hate how they act like the arbiters of morality all the time.
Oh, I agree,
all
but
the time.
either way, like, I don't think it's the case because the Patriots would void his contract if that was the case. Because why pay him? Because even when he's on IR,
like
you
they
still
did
need to
to
pay him
Antonio
at an
Brown.
insurance rate, right?
Yeah.
If the Patriots can't lie about the reason he's on IR, because then it opens them up to litigation and fiscal responsibility.
Exactly.
So I don't believe it to be that. However, what is curious is news out of Josh Gordon's camp says that he'd actually be able to return sooner than later.
Okay.
I just think watching him all season, he hasn't looked as explosive as the past, and it's not necessarily what the Patriots want him to be.
Yeah.
So they've kind of moved on. It's kind of unceremonious. If you remember,
so-
even when Randy Moss left, it was kind of unceremonious. They kind of like
He just
made
the
him
thing
feel
is-
unwelcome before he got rid of him.
That's it. I feel like that's the Patriots do. It's the Patriot way, right?
Yeah, be assholes.
Yeah, they kind of at the end of it, they're like, okay, like we're done with you.
Like Wes Welker too was kind of like.
Well, Wes Welker was like at the end of his career. There was no like, they're not very like cheesy people.
No.
Like the Cowboys, they celebrate everything.
All the time.
They have a very big history, so there's always something.
Well, they
to
celebrated a
celebrate.
Super Bowl after 3-0.
Oh,
this season.
exactly. They did. They MVP'd some. They celebrated MVP after being 3-0 too.
That's true. That's true. But Terry, for this week, you know what the MVP is?
Well, don't do it because he doesn't have.
Terry, it's the
he
news.
doesn't have the
MVP
thing.
of our week, the news.
I tried showing him where the soundboard was, but he said, "Yeah, I got it."
A week without soundboard, a week without videos and audio for what we do makes it very difficult. Eagle, I retract my statement of Duke greater than Eagle, as it turns out. Please come back. But so
Please come back.
the lead that we were bearing partially was the Patriots traded a second-round pick for Mo Sanu. Interestingly, they've built it in as a compensatory situation. So if Mo Sanu doesn't re-sign with the Patriots, they get a pick back. How do other teams negotiate trades? I don't understand.
Exactly. It doesn't fucking make sense.
It makes sense now.
Well, now, yeah.
Well, I know, but how do the Falcons? So it's like the Falcons may not get that second-round pick.
It's crazy.
Sanu is so underrated. He's gonna be such a
he's
great
not underrated.
fit
He's
with Pat.
underused.
I don't understand why people complain about the compensatory picks when we're talking
Well, it's
about a trade over a player. You have no idea who you're gonna get for a second round.
No. But the situation compensatory pick is that they're going to give up a second-round pick, except that if Mo Sanu doesn't sign after this season with the Patriots,
Mm-hmm.
then the Falcons have to give a pick back to the Patriots.
Wow.
So
Not
it may
the same-
cost them
not the same pick.
not the same, but like a third or fourth or something.
Whatever it is.
But just to say that, because they don't release the terms of the compensatory pick. That's
Yeah.
not unless it happens, because there's issues with the because they don't want it to affect the salary negotiations of the player. So they don't release the information ahead of time. So the thing is that if this happens, then it wasn't the value that they paid for it. They get a rebate on what they paid for Mo Sanu.
The Patriots.
Yeah, if he doesn't sign, which we don't expect him to sign.
So I guess the Falcons wanted to get rid of him. I don't know why.
Well, because the contract's running up. Apparently, they're looking to trade Austin Hooper before the end of the week.
What the fuck?
Well,
But
Matt
they're
Ryan's hurt. They're
yeah.
terrible. Austin Hooper's a free agent. They can't afford all these contracts
Dan
at the end
Quinn's
of
gonna get fired at the end of the season.
Apparently, Julio Jones went into the locker room and like gave the players shit, saying that Dan Quinn did a lot for them, and like it's because of him that they're there, and that the offer.
Well, Dan Quinn did a lot for Julio Jones, making him the only player ever to get a 97% guaranteed contract in the NFL, in
That's
NFL history.
And for
I mean, if anybody's worth it, by the way, it's Julio Jones.
for a guy who only got like 4 touchdowns last year.
Yeah, but
He had,
that's
like,
not
how
his
many
fault.
catches?
That's not his fault that Matt Ryan
They run that same
throws to the
fucking-
other team in the red
Yeah,
zone.
yeah. And they run that same fucking fade all.
That's
every
all they
single
do.
time,
That's all they
every
do.
single time.
What's interesting about this is Mo Sanu spent, I think, 78% of the season thus far in the slot. He's typically been a slot receiver. Julian Edelman is a slot receiver. So when I saw this trade this morning, I messaged you guys saying, hey, is Julian Edelman's injury more serious?
Yeah, because he looked fucked up on Monday.
It turned out to be maybe Josh Gordon, but also the Patriots move so many pieces
That's it. Yeah.
in their offense. They're not beholden to
They also-
using guys in a specific role.
Well, also Dorsett's available there too.
Dorsett's been uniquely an
Nikhil-
outside receiver, though,
Nikhil-
even with the Patriots.
Nikhil Harry, I don't know if he's back or not. Or
He's cleared IR. He hasn't really been
Okay,
doing
there
much
you
yet.
go. So he's still out, but maybe they're hoping for.
Also, the Jacoby Myers, who looked really good.
Oh yeah, Jacoby Myers too. He actually, if I was playing against a guy in fantasy and he had him and I was winning by a couple points, and he ended up winning because of Jacoby Myers.
Yeah, it's frustrating, right?
Go fuck yourself. Jacoby Myers in your starting lineup.
Jigga, fuck yourself.
Football is stupid.
Yeah.
So is fantasy football.
Sanders to the Niners.
That's interesting too because
They don't throw the ball.
they don't throw the ball at all.
They are
But he's not
adjusting
like a
for
deep
game
threat
flow.
kinda guy
The
either.
49ers are the run heaviest team in the league.
They went old school football. They play good defense. Play yourself some good defense. Run the ball down the throat, and yeah, you throw the ball when you can some, but you don't have to do some.
Well, so what's interesting is Kyle Shanahan did this when he was in Atlanta. He had a lot of running backs, a lot of talented running backs. Devonta Freeman has not looked the same since he left.
And Tevin Coleman.
And Tevin Coleman's
in the
returned,
Niners.
and he's been the red zone back. He's been there. Emmanuel Sanders joins this team. What I will say is, I understand that they haven't thrown much, but the Niners aren't a team who have a number one receiver. They have a legitimate number one receiver for at least 10 games.
Yeah, for sure.
Because again, he's also an upcoming free agent.
He's not a deep threat kind of guy, so they're not going to be forced to force the ball. He's a slot player. He likes to in the red zone. He's very good.
Mm-hmm.
He's very quick within like 5 to 10 yards. And,
Hey, he's not like a very like big player. He's not tall in stature,
yeah.
but he's weirdly good in the red
Oh,
zone.
he's good. I'm a fan, and I have him in fantasy, and I'm actually pretty happy that he went there because he'll be the number one receiver,
Yeah, whereas Cortland Sutton obviously deserves to be number one guy, and then the way
and
he's
then
played.
get traded.
He will,
Yeah,
because that team is going to
because
be garbage
Bronco's
fire.
gonna Bronco, because
Yeah.
Elway's gonna Elway.
Can we talk about John Elway for a second?
Absolutely.
He has a big
I
head.
find-
He owns a car dealership. We
He
know
also-
that.
he has a massive head.
I'm really trying to figure out when
Amongst
I
other
was
body
watching when I
parts.
was watching the last Broncos game how he just stuck with Flacco till the end, and it just made me think, Why? Is it that you know that
Well, Locke's
you're
hurt.
screwed, but they have no one else?
I mean, what's the difference? What's the point? Like Flacco's, it's not like he's a rookie quarterback who's going to get damaged by this. Like,
It made me think at the beginning of the season when Elway came out and said that, this season is going to rely on the success of Joe Flacco. And I remember hearing that and laughing in my living room.
Well, yeah, because if he sucks so bad, they're gonna lose.
well,
It's almost
because
like putting the
the
blame on
thing
him.
is,
Yeah.
though, for years, Joe Flacco has been great at throwing the ball 30 yards on field and drawing defensive pass interference. But now that it's contestable, he's not as good.
It's true.
So rule change makes Joe Flacco Joe useless.
Fuck, man, he got paid, huh? Holy shit.
Well, not as much as newly retired Brock Osweiler.
Oh, yes.
Did you know Brock Osweiler was still in the league? I didn't, but I know now because he's retired.
So he made all his money.
Great.
$43 million.
And he still looks great.
What
He
the
still looks great. Got barely touched.
What the fuck?
Super healthy. Goes into retirement.
How did
with a
Brock
great retirement
Osweiler make
plan.
$43 million?
Well, and this brings me to my next point.
Because
Adam
he was tall,
Gase.
because he beat the
Yeah.
Patriots.
Adam Gase got just beaten down by the Patriots. So the Patriots blitz.
How-
The Patriots average blitzes on between 25 and 27% of the time in games, right? They blitz 45.5% of the
You're asking
time.
us as if we know numbers.
I'm saying it as
You
I'm saying it's
said-
a question to
you
make
said
you
right,
look
we're like-
smarter than you are.
Right?
I know that you don't know. I'm informing you. They blitzed 45.5% of the time, meaning they were so unworried about Adam Gase's screen passes and 1-yard slants that he said, you know what? Go ahead. Try and go 100 yards, 1-yard slant at a time. Adam Gase, I'm a Dolphins fan.
Yeah.
Adam Gase, you have crazy fucking eyes. Nobody likes
weird.
He's got
you.
a beard now, though. He's got a beard now.
You
Yeah,
look-
it's
he
to
looks-
distract attention to his lower face because his upper face is fucking crazy.
He looks good. He looks good. I'm a
He's
fan.
got that.
Yeah, because you're not looking at his eyes.
See,
It's true. Look at it.
I don't look at it that
He
way.
was in Miami. He traded away any ounce of talent they had. He wanted guys who fit his system. Your system is balls. You made Jake Cutler boring. Jake Cutler should have been on the field smoking joints and throwing balls down the field.
He made
Instead,
Jay
you had
Cutler
him
boring.
playing your crappy
I
offense.
don't think Jay Cutler knows he's still not in the NFL. The guy's so on a fucking.
Wait, what are you mad at, though?
He's
I'm
on
trying
a-
to figure this out.
he's
You're
on a
mad- you're mad at
10-second
Gase?
tape
I'm
delay.
mad at Adam
Are you
Gase.
mad at Gase's beard? I
I'm
don't
mad at
understand.
his existence in football. We
Yeah.
need coaches with balls.
Yeah, I do have to say that when a team is down by 30 points and you fucking punt, do I ever hate that? When I watch it on TV, I
Yeah.
shrivel. I change channel. I hate it.
It was
You
awful.
have
It was
no
awful.
balls. At that point, you're down. But then
But
again,
so
when
Adam
you're-
Gase was-
when your quarterback is saying that he sees ghosts, at that point you're like, we're fucked.
Adam Gase is supposed to be the quarterback whisperer.
Yeah.
When he was the offensive coordinator in Chicago, he quote unquote resurrected Jay Cutler's career. At that time, we saw Jay Cutler throwing the least amount of yards per attempt in his career, least amount of yards per completion in his career.
But
He then goes to Denver and gets credit for winning a Super Bowl. Yeah, you won a Super Bowl with Peyton Manning, in the worst version of Peyton Manning I've ever seen.
who has his own office, because he would study tape by himself.
Yeah, good job there. Good job, Adam Gase.
Of Adam Gase.
He goes to Miami, ruins the career of Ryan Tannehill, who's now the starter, by the way, in Tennessee. So how bad are you, Marcus Mariota?
He actually looked really good. Tannehill looked really, really solid.
Tannehill's talented, man.
Yeah, and I think it's going to work out.
What are you
I
showing?
think it's the same.
Go for it.
Finally, he goes to the New York Jets, and he has a talent, and I think Sam Darnold's talented. In that time, Sam Darnold gets a high schooler's disease, and when he returns, he looks god-awful.
Yeah.
Thank you, Adam Gase. You're a plague on football.
Well, he didn't look bad against the Cowboys.
No, he did not.
Week one of post mono.
That's the most confusing part of the whole story is that the Jets beat down. I'm not going to say beat down.
That's
They
how
really
bad
beat
the
down.
Eagles
They
are.
beat.
Ready? That's how bad the Eagles are.
But I hate how
Listen.
we go into this comparative analysis every time the
Can't make a
Patriots
joke
destroy a
nowadays.
team.
Look,
Listen,
it's a
this is how
legendary.
This is how bad the Eagles are. They got destroyed by the Cowboys, who got destroyed by the Jets.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
how bad the Eagles are. I don't know,
but we saw Adam Gase
Josh
get
Allen.
out coached by Bill Belichick. Is what we saw then. Is what we saw
Yeah,
Monday night.
Yeah,
That was clear to me.
which you kind of expected.
And so we've also heard a thing about him seeing ghosts.
Yes.
So apparently in the remake of The Sixth Sense.
So yeah, he said, "I'm seeing ghosts out there." Like everybody's mad. They shouldn't have been recorded. They shouldn't have posted it. He agreed to be mic'd up. Fuck you, man.
But so Brett Favre has since come out and talked
Oh,
about
I
it.
didn't see this. What he said.
He said basically what it is that you go from high school to college, and there's a difference in caliber.
Of course.
But then when you go
Also,
to college to
defenses
the
aren't
NFL,
masked.
yeah,
They're
but
not masked as well as in the NFL.
but then you go to the NFL, and it's every team has stars everywhere. They're all
Yes.
the most talented people in the world,
Oh, it's
right?
the hardest transition.
But
for
that
sure.
that Patriots defense, I mean, if you look at just that secondary, you can it's an all-star defense. Every single player is super intelligent, and also those defenses, they mask everything.
It's the best defense
So
I've seen
when
in
you
20
when
years.
you're like,
Mhm.
I think what he was saying about seeing ghosts is that it's just that the blitz packages that he had prepared for wasn't what he had seen.
It's the best defense I've seen in 20 years.
You can feel free to put yourself on the screen when you're speaking.
No, there's no camera on him.
Oh, you're
No,
not
I
camera.
haven't
My
figured
mistake.
that
My
part
mistake.
out,
That's my bad. But so, I'm sorry, man. We don't have a producer this week. So,
Who do you think gets
What's the
fired
reason
first?
why
I
they
know
lost?
I love asking you this question, and you guys hate this question, but I love asking it. Dan Quinn, Adam Gase. Who gets fired first?
I don't think either of them should be fired.
I think Adam Gase should be fired and never work again.
I don't think either of them should
and
be
I
fired.
hate calling for people's jobs. But Adam Gase, you don't deserve that job.
I don't think anybody should be fired until the end of the season.
Fired and
I'm
never
not-
work again.
I don't think either of them should
and
be
I
fired.
hate calling for people's
Why-
jobs. Why am I
Sorry,
hearing?
sorry,
7
Why did I
seconds
hear
ago?
something I said? Are we in a space-time continuum?
Thank you, Don Gruden. We might be. That's the only explanation.
Yeah.
I don't think either one will get fired.
No, but
mid-season.
that's what I'm saying. I'm against coaches getting fired mid-season. I think it's you're washing the
I'm
season
trying to figure out why they even scheduled that game on primetime. Like, in what world were the Jets ever going to beat
because
the
at
Pats?
because at the beginning of the year, there's a lot of hypes on the Jets. I know this because I put money on the Jets winning the division.
No,
which I'm
but
not going to win.
No.
I don't understand how people keep making this mistake, especially Jets fans. Jets fans every season have
The
this.
fucking media.
The
They get
Jets-
in your
Jets
head.
fans-
The
Jets
Jets
fans
are also
always
the
think they're gonna do
AFC Cowboys.
Yes.
No,
They're the
They're not
cockiest,
successful.
dumbest fans.
No,
Neither are the Cowboys.
the AFC Cowboys.
How old were you last time you saw them in the Super Bowl?
The Cowboys?
The Cowboys.
8.
Okay, so to be fair, I was one last time the Dolphins were in the Super Bowl, but still, we don't have any preconceived notions. I like Miami because when I go down to see a game, I don't have to watch the game. There's a bunch of hot women at the beach. That's why I'm a fan. Best fandom ever.
No, but like, I think the Cowboys. I know what you mean by the Cowboys reference. Like the Cowboys of the AFC are probably the Raiders. There's always this hype.
No, I feel like they're always
What
extra
do you
down
mean hype?
themselves.
The Raiders haven't had hype until recently.
This fucking guy. There's always a-
there's no
Sorry,
there's
sorry.
non-existent hype with
There's
the
always the
Raiders.
hope.
People before the season were saying they were going to be a 4-win team when Antonio Brown was on the team.
Yeah, there's never hype with the Raiders. We
No,
haven't
I
heard
said
about
they would
hype.
go 8-8.
We said they would go 8-8. We were the only ones.
I think
Just
we're the only
because
ones.
you say it, Terry, does not mean that's
Everyone
hype.
says.
No, but that's what I'm saying is that if most people say 4 wins and I say there's 8 wins, then there's fucking random hype on them.
We're the random hype.
Hard knocks. Hard knocks.
Yeah, but it's
That's
always
what
the
I'm
worst
saying.
teams on Hard Knocks. They force it on
It's
that.
true,
I
though.
know. I
The
know.
Patriots would
I
never
know.
agree to go on Hard
It's
Knocks.
also it's been in consecutive seasons. The Browns, the Dolphins,
Yeah.
and the
What movie are you gonna
Raiders.
vote for if you had to vote for the Grammys, the Oscars, best film? What would you vote
This
for?
year?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that many movies.
Okay, so you've watched one of the 5.
This show makes me watch a lot of sports.
You've watched one of the 5 movies that was nominated. Who are you voting for?
I don't know what do you want me
Okay,
to say.
if there's 5
Tell me what you want me to say. The most
there's-
entertaining one.
if
One of
there's
the most
5
explosions.
if there's-
Is there a Die Hard?
Okay.
I will choose Die Hard.
So in the Oscar.
Die Hard.
Boys, we have Avengers Endgame,
Die
Toy
Hard.
Story 4, Joker, Midsummer, Star Wars, of course.
These are all the
John
movies.
Wick. John Wick
These are all the
Yeah,
movies.
John
John
Wick
Wick
has to win.
has to win.
It's got the most explosions.
win.
Okay, so
Boban was in it.
none of these movies except for Joker will be nominated for Film of the Year.
John Wick.
Will not be
Mark
nominated.
my fucking words.
You know I haven't seen any of the John Wicks.
What?
What?
Oh,
Yeah.
you would love it.
I know.
We-
Everybody
it's
says
We need
totally
to
your
have a
thing,
watch
man.
party.
Yeah,
down.
we do.
Everybody says I
Trilogy
should
watch
watch
party.
them. Yeah. Apparently he does a lot of jiu-jitsu in it. Anyway, so I'm saying is that if you only watched one of the movies nominated out of the 5 and you had a vote, who would you vote for?
The one movie I watched.
Exactly.
John Wick 5. It's John Wick 3.
So Hard Knocks, Oakland Raiders. The hype on them was because of Hard Knocks.
That's fair.
We only had an inside scoop to them. A lot of teams did their own like YouTube versions. Like the Browns did one, the Chiefs did one. I watched them. But for the most part, all the media attention was on the Raiders, and we all thought that they were going to be better.
Still
than
haven't watched a single episode.
but
that's-
you
but that's-
haven't,
That's
yeah.
not. That's not the. I know what you mean when you say it's the fault of the media.
Yeah.
But in the case of the Raiders, it's really just it's one giant preseason hype video.
Time to watch it.
I was gonna say playoff baseball, however, is fun.
Oh, it's the
It's a
best.
different sport.
It's the best.
Just
really
give
fun.
us that.
It's the best.
Last
Just
time was
choose
great.
4 random teams at the beginning of the year and give us that.
I
Last time
never
was
understood
great.
why they only let 6 teams in the playoffs in each conference.
It
Anyway.
used to only be 4.
That's so stupid.
Yeah.
They play so many games.
Best of the best.
But they play so many games.
Cut out an entire month of the season.
Yeah. And give us
Add more teams
Yeah.
in playoffs.
Yeah, but the teams will never agree to that because of the revenue they get from the tenants.
I
Well,
get
that's
that.
true. That's true. Because it's the thing is baseball's become, and we see this with the numbers, right? We see what is it? This Is Us got better ratings. By the way, This Is Us. Jesus Christ. I'm so, my wife is trying to watch it.
Every episode, they just try to make you cry more and more.
I can't do it.
It's
It's
too
too
much-
dramatic.
I've watched a
dramatic.
few episodes. I can't watch any of them.
I'm watching it. I'm trying to watch it with my wife. Every time it's on, I swear to God, my eyes roll back in my head.
It's the fucking
Yeah.
worst.
It's so.
I feel the same way
overdramatic.
about Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
I'm sorry, I confused
Wasn't it
the teas.
Prestige Worldwide?
It might have been. But yeah, so the playoffs have been great.
Yeah.
You hate the Nationals, but you realize you're basically hating.
I don't hate the
Expos.
Nationals. He says I hate the Nationals. I don't hate the Nationals.
In the script, it says Terry hates the Nationals.
And I wrote that
Okay,
because-
so you see why
because
I'm
I
confused.
wanted you to write. I wanted you to say that I hate the Nationals.
Ti has been in 120 movies. How many movies have you been in?
I've been in one.
Are including porn? One.
Not homemade porn.
Wait, what? You've been in? You've been in a porn?
I didn't say it was. I said including porn. I never gave you the first number, so I'll leave it to you.
Yeah.
What were we just saying? I don't hate the Nationals. I'm an Expos guy. You know what I mean?
So here's the thing.
So I won't. Root
This
for
is gonna
them.
be very unpopular for our specific constituency.
I also like rooting for Jose Altuve because he's so tiny.
he is so tiny. I know.
I love it.
It's kind of why your wife married you, the tininess. So it's just so cute. The thing is, this is going to be very unpopular with our constituency, but I will say this:
Constituency.
the
Filibuster. Like,
the
you don't understand.
I loved the Expos.
Yes.
I loved the Expos.
Who didn't?
The
If you're in Montreal, didn't love the
we got
Expos,
screwed. We
fuck
got
you.
screwed by the lockout, 100%.
Yes.
Jeffrey Loria, you can rot in fucking hell.
Yeah.
If you're not welcome in this town, I swear, if you come back to
Oh, he's
Montreal,
probably been back.
you will be hung,
He's probably been back about 400 times.
hanged,
What
because
is
you're
the
not
word?
hung.
Is it a hung or a hanged?
I believe it's hanged.
Because if you come back, you will be hung. You will suddenly grow penis.
It happens in Montreal.
It's actually not you will be hanged or hung. It's you will hang.
You
All right.
hang. You will hang.
That's
for
true
your
because
sins.
it's future past. It's weird. The Expos, when we lost the Expos, we no longer deserve to have a team. 3,000 people
I
in
agree.
attendance is awful.
Blame the dads, don't you?
No, it was awful. And
It's like you
Washington
always,
is
It's like you
proven-
always miss your ex when they don't give a fuck about
only
you
when she
anymore.
posts hot ass pictures on Facebook in the World Series.
at the World Series.
The thing is, it's they deserve a team. We didn't think it would be the case because the Washington Generals have failed in the past, but they've proven they deserve a team. And they got rid of a fake superstar in Bryce Harper, and still have been competitive enough to get to the World Series and have
Yeah.
taken the lead over the Astros. So, Washington, hats off to you. I'm still kind of cheering for the Astros, but just because those old school jerseys are awesome.
But last night, having watched the game from start to finish, there were moments where it got a little bit slow, but that was mostly because of the commercial breaks and whatnot, and there was a lot of pitching changes. But towards the end, it sped up a lot.
Yeah.
And I have to say, it's the most fun I've had watching baseball.
I'm actually
That being
just
said,
checking
you
to
know
see
what it
when
is?
the next game is.
It's not just the team, but I love that stadium that they play in Houston.
In Houston,
It's
yeah,
so
it's
nice
a
to
beauty.
look at that
It's a
I find it
fucking
makes
beauty.
it enjoyable to watch.
Absolutely.
You know,
The thing is with the Astros is they're actually embroiled in controversy at the moment.
didn't
At
know
the
that.
the same time of being in the then you'll find out live on air. The assistant general manager during the game when Roberto Osuna blew a save,
Oh yeah.
he screamed out. Apparently, according to the reporters on the scene, that included Sports Illustrators Stephanie Epstein. See, that's filibustering right there. So many descriptors.
it's good.
Stephanie Epstein wrote an article in SI.com talking about how during the game, after Osuna blew a save, he stood up and screamed, so glad we got Osuna. Fucking glad we got Osuna. Now, the three female reporters that were in the room, of course, one of them was wearing an anti-domestic violence, what's it called?
Bracelet.
Bracelet. The rubber bracelets. That's purple, I guess.
Okay.
They were offended by that.
Why?
Because they obviously don't like Roberto Osuna
Why?
because he had his issues with domestic.
Oh, I
violence
didn't
in the
even know
past.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he served a 75-game suspension
Yeah.
for
Okay,
domestic
so
violence.
the GM saying, "I'm glad."
assistant GM.
The assistant GM saying, "I'm glad we got Osuna
But says it like
because he blew
sarcastically.
because he
I'm glad
blew
we
his
got
save
him.
yeah.
because he didn't
He's
close
being
it.
facetious, obviously.
Yeah.
In other words, that you don't understand.
No, I've heard facetious before.
Don't
I've heard
use
all of
this
these
sentence.
words. I've also heard filibustering only on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia by Charlie.
There we go.
When he didn't know what it meant, so I don't know what it means.
That's a great teacher of the English language right
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Charlie Kelly.
Yeah, so now look,
I just don't understand why they would be offended. It had nothing to do with that.
there's two things. Look, I think honestly, he obviously didn't mean it to sort of rub salt in the wound.
Yeah.
He didn't
He also
mean it.
apologized for it since.
Oh,
He
you have
apologized
to
for it since.
apologize.
That said, I will say there's an appropriate way to speak when you're at work.
Absolutely.
At the field, you're the assistant GM. You're at work,
You can do
right?
whatever the
I wouldn't say that at work.
Yeah.
That's why I created my own work environment where I'm allowed to say whatever the fuck I want with Terry Tam and you, Duke.
See,
But when you're assistant GM of a team, you need to be careful what you're saying.
I feel like guys in this situation that make these comments, they're always hanging on to the smallest thread that goes in the support of the player. Like, for example, with Osuna escaped any type of real trial because the woman that accused him refused to go to Toronto to testify.
Yeah.
And it's for that the Canadian judge.
Look, you
dropped it.
can't blame her. Kawhi don't want to stay in Toronto.
No.
Nobody wants to
Yeah.
go there.
Nope.
we have a interview today.
We do.
Fuck it, we'll do it live. Just call him.
We're live.
Skype. What's the password
Fuck
for Skype?
them.
Password for Skype.
We're on the
All right,
air
no
with
problem.
Savage, Steph, Paulson.
Good job, Terry.
What do you mean?
Friend of ours, friend of the show, great fighter. Savage, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing really well, man. Thanks for asking.
So I know you're a Steelers fan.
Yeah,
They have a big game.
not
week.
this year.
No, not this year. They have a big game this week. They're playing the Dolphins Monday night.
Oh my God.
Minus
can't wait.
13 favored.
I'm so happy that
Yeah.
I'm not gonna watch that game that night.
You're not gonna watch it?
I'm not available that
These
evening.
primetime games don't make any sense.
It's because they booked them at the beginning of the year, Duke.
Who thought the Dolphins were gonna be good though? Who thought the Dolphins deserved prime
every
time?
team has to get a primetime game. So like Monday night is struggling compared to Sunday night. So we'll just give them Monday night.
I guess so.
So that's Steph.
It's still a garbage game, though.
It's
It's
terrible.
a fucking terrible game.
Should I play Hodges?
No idea what that means.
In fantasy, no. You should not play Hodges.
Okay, Steph, we'll get back to you.
Steph, should I play Hodges?
So what's
Get back to me next year.
there you go. So what's been going on with you, man? What's new? How's the training going?
Training's going well. Everything's going well. Basically, everything's going in the right direction right now. So everything's moving forward, and training's been going great. Back to wrestling pretty much every weekend now, with the summer being over and stuff. So feeling great right now.
So now the season is like in high gear. You're going to be wrestling every weekend.
Pretty much, yeah. Most of the promotions that I wrestle with run on a monthly basis. Some run shows a bit more often. So yeah, it's either every weekend or at least every other weekend. So 2 to 3 times a month for sure, if not 4,
Do they
on
coordinate?
certain months.
Do they coordinate? Do like is one league say, okay, since they do it on the second weekend of the month, we'll do it on the third example?
Well, in Montreal, some do, yes, because you don't want to run shows in Montreal, like in town, all in the same weekend.
Yeah,
Some do, some don't. Some are big enough that they don't care. They know that if whatever date they're going to put a show, people are going to pick them first.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of go along with that. But yeah, like, I mean, if it's out of town though, so it's kind of different because most of them kind of try to calculate because some of them use the same wrestlers. So they're like, I want this guy booked, but I know he's wrestling here, so I'm not going to book my show on this Saturday. I'll wait till next Saturday. So
Yeah, like
certain
you're you're a champion in a few different organizations, no?
I am, yes. So I'm champion in promotion here in Montreal, and I'm also a tag team champion for Torture Chamber Pro Wrestling Dojo.
Yeah.
So what
For
is
their
the
promotion, so.
event that's coming up for you that you want us to promote, Steph?
Yes, thanks. By the way, thanks for having me on to promote
That's a pleasure,
this.
man. We always love having you on.
Always.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. So Torture Chamber Pro Wrestling Dojo is the wrestling school where I basically learned everything. And we run shows now. There are promotions. So Torture Chamber Pro Wrestling Dojo is presenting this coming Saturday in Anjou at the Centre Hockey-Ball in Anjou. We have our 4th edition of Straight Outta Chamber. So normally what Straight Outta Chamber is, it's a show that gets to show the talent coming out of the school. So it's not necessarily only guys from Torture Chamber, but a lot of the guys that are on this show are from this school. And it's kind of just to display the talent and the new prospects that are coming out of the school. And this Saturday, we have a stacked card. We have 3 championship match, including myself, where we'll be defending our Canadian Tag Team Championships. And there's also in the main event for the British Commonwealth Championship, Drew Onyx versus Genesis, which is just going to be 2 big monsters killing each other. Yeah. It's an Indian strap match, so they're both going to be tied to this big leather strap to the wrist. And cool. Yeah, they're going to be able to use awesome. the strap as a weapon. And it's for the vacant British Commonwealth Championship. Because the current champion had to vacate the championship due to an injury.
Steph, sort of semi-on air, semi-off air, Terry mentioned that he saw the transformation picture you posted from October 2016 to October 2019. Looking at it right now.
Yeah.
You know, don't take this the wrong way, but you're a beautiful man, firstly. Secondly,
thank you.
For a room of guys constantly struggling with their weight, what'd you do, man? How'd you get yourself in such great shape?
I think number one thing is my nutrition. But even back in 2016, my nutrition was pretty clean. I'd already been watching what I eat for quite a few years. What really changed in the last 2 to 3 years is just my workouts. I've been trying different things and trying to see and lifting heavy and just basically trying new things. And recently I just kind of hit a groove in the last, I'd say around 6 to 8 months. I figured out what works for me, how far I can push, how much cardio to do. And it's just, my body feels great. As far as injury, knock on wood, everything worked well. So I think it's a combination of just being disciplined with what I eat during the week. I kind of fuck off during the weekend. So it's kind of either at least one day, but nutrition is a big factor for me. And I do what's called intermittent fasting too, 5 to 6 times a week. So that also helps with the weight loss. And just working my ass off basically in the gym and everything.
So the pre-show pizza and beer we had was a bad idea.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Very bad idea.
All right, goddamn it, Terry.
You said you're on a diet, so I got you a Diet Coke.
Yeah. Then I drank 2 beers.
So I watched that Game Changers documentary. Did you watch it, Steph?
I did not. I've been told to watch it, but I have yet to watch.
It's all right. I mean, listen, it's very informative, but
it is.
It's very informative. It tells you a lot of things, but there's so many things that they talk about that I know that they didn't give the full answer to. So it's plant-based diet.
Well, they left a lot of information out.
That's it, exactly.
Is what you're saying, right? Yeah.
A lot of things, when at one point they spoke about how with a plant-based diet you can get 70% more protein than you should when you're on a meat diet, and I'm like,
okay.
But that protein, if your body's not using it properly, it turns into fat. That's what people don't realize. So it's there's a lot of things that they kind of.
I tried doing something that was a lot of plant-based stuff, and I gained weight very quickly.
It's weird because there's also a lot of carbs in a plant-based thing. So if
that's the thing though. You can do plant-based and eat pasta all day.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Pasta's made with eggs. So
you could buy I think you could buy but there's a lot of things. I didn't watch the documentary, but I did hear that there's a lot of people that were interviewed for that documentary that had to be removed right before they released it because a lot of the people, not a lot, but a few of them that they interviewed went back to eating meat before the documentary came out.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I love how they had Carl Lewis on it. The guy's anyway, whatever. Go finish what you're saying.
I'm sorry, Carl Lewis. Is he plant-based?
Yeah, apparently he says he was plant-based when he won his gold medal at 30 years old. The same year he got popped. Well, he got popped for steroids, but they didn't really penalize him for. So
Yeah.
Is what it is.
Wow, I wasn't aware that he was plant-based. But basically, I think the big difference, especially for athletes that really push the limits, is recovery. And I've heard a lot of people that were vegan and everything went well until they had to recover from either an injury where it wasn't at all the same. And the minute they reintroduced meat or a type of different protein in their diet, their recovery just became something completely different.
So on the documentary, they talk a lot about how it helped with their recovery. And a friend of the show, Marco Briette, played football for 10 years in the CFL. He recently became vegan, and he works out every day. He wakes up at 4 a.m. He's at the gym. He has a kid. He comes back home. He works out again every day. Even he's not a professional athlete.
But he
anymore.
never recovered from a football injury while being.
Yeah, he did. He had a full season. His last season was when he was vegan, which was his most, I don't know, like stats-wise, how successful he was at it, but he had a pretty good year. But he said, like, I have no problems recovering, and I feel good. So to everybody's different, right?
I think there's outliers. I wouldn't call them outliers, but I would call them, See, the thing that I've learned with nutrition and really, like, trying everything different for my body is that after a while, your body, you get to pay attention to your body, you get to know your body. And one of the things is that I've discovered is that your body is adaptable to almost anything. So
to a
for me,
degree, right? Like even like bad shit, even like when you have bad habits, your body's incredibly adaptive. So like, for example, like I don't eat fast food often. When I do, I feel horrendous immediately after.
Horrible.
But I know that if I go on vacation, I eat nothing but trash for like 7 days. My body's used to it like after a day and a half. It's crazy. It's crazy how quick you adapt.
That feeling goes away. That shitty feeling goes away after 2 or 3 days of eating consistent food. See, the thing that I've noticed, one of the big things that I noticed with me is that my body will get used to working on a certain amount of calories, even if it's not a lot of calories. So one day I might not eat my calorie intake that I need, and then my body will adapt to that. But like certain people are just, athletes, and they pretty much can do anything, vegan, plant-based. They'll never have a problem. That's fair. But I don't know. I haven't really researched it enough to say anything else about it. And I don't want to be that guy that just go blah, blah, blah. Like, I eat meat, but I don't eat a lot of red meat. And it's mostly like a lot of fish and a lot of chicken.
Yeah.
A lot of fish. So you're kind of like a pescatarian. But that's the thing is,
chicken aren't fish, Terry. I don't know if you know this, but chicken aren't fish.
After I watched the Game Changers thing, it's like, you might also like this. It's Meat Eater. It's the hunting show. So I just
I love that show. It's my favorite show. It's my favorite show. My favorite hunting show. Best show in the hunting show out there.
I binge watched it the last couple of days. It's unbelievable. You learn so much. Yeah. And I just got I sent it the papers, but I'm getting my gun license. Next year I'll get my hunting license, and I'm gonna kill some fucking deer, man. It's awesome.
Let's go elk hunting.
Yeah, I'm down.
Steph, how was Crise d'Octobre?
Crise d'Octobre was crazy. I had the pleasure of wrestling Justin Turnbull, and we put together a great match. So had lots of fun. The crowd was hot, and I'm having a blast wrestling at NCW.
That's awesome, man. Really happy for you. When's your next event again? Just one more time for the audience.
Yes. So this coming Saturday, straight out of Chamber 4. Show starts at 7:30. It's at Centre Québal in Anjou on 9001 Parkway in Anjou. Doors open at 6:30.
Oh, so that's right off the highway too.
Yeah, right off the highway. Yeah, I think like on the kind of like right off the 25 and.
It's really close to your place.
40. Yeah. Tickets are $15, and it's going to be quite a show. We're looking at we already got a lot of pre-sale tickets out there. And so we're looking at, well over 200 people
That's good.
on that day
So it's
for our first show there. It's our first show there, so.
It's perfect because you've Saturday you got college football, Saturday night go catch Steph, and then Sunday NFL football to recover. Right, you got to recover from a whole night out.
And then Monday you're back in the grind because the Dolphins are going to beat the Steelers on Monday Night Football.
They better not.
You think?
Tank season, baby, tank season.
It's either them or the Bengals at this point, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Bengals
For sure.
are bad, man. I think they're.
I tell you what, Steph, I'm a Dolphins fan. You're a Steelers fan, so let's put a bet on the game. I'll choose the Steelers. Steph, thanks for joining us so much. If anybody would like to follow him, he's a great follow. You can get him at savagepaulson.tcprodojo on Instagram. Great follow. Thanks for joining us, Steph.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. I enjoyed it.
Have a good one.
Thanks, Steph.
All right. Talk to you guys later.
Ciao, buddy.
Later.
All right. Bye.
Always a good time. Love
Always,
that dude.
I love that guy.
Just a nice onion.
He makes me feel so lazy.
Yeah, no, he does. He does.
Oh my god.
Because he's talking about his diet, and I'm like, that's not different from what I do.
Okay.
Why do you look like that?
Just go on his Instagram. The other day he has a video. He's like, I just got home from work or whatever. I'm exhausted, so I decided to go run 5K.
Instead of 25.
Or
He's exhausted.
instead of just do nothing.
Yeah, well, no, that's what we
Yeah.
would do. His thing is I won't run all that much. I'll only run a 5K.
And he's classic because he posts everything, and he's a very inspirational guy. I respect him.
He seems that way. He
immensely.
honestly really he's not preachy, but definitely inspirational in that it just
Absolutely.
comes naturally. Time for?
Rapid fire.
This is going to be tough because we don't have any of the sounds and videos, but let's
Hall
do it.
of Complain. MJ says Curry isn't a Hall of Famer.
Okay.
Is his mic on, by the way?
Yeah, it is on.
Okay. It's just you're low on my headset. I wasn't
Yeah,
sure.
you're low on my headset tue, but you're on. I
Okay.
can see you're on.
That's fine. That's
You're
fine.
good,
Yeah, we just want to
you're
make
good.
sure. This is so. First of all, MJ, to anybody under the age of 20, you're a crying face meme.
He's bad.
Listen, why you got to be so petty?
Yeah, that's it.
You
yeah,
were a
exactly.
great player. Nobody's ever going to take that away from you. Your Hall of Fame speech was petty. This is ridiculous.
What did he
How
say?
many? But how many players in the NBA let's say at a given time per generation? How many of those players are Hall of Famers? Maybe 5 to 7.
Per generation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Steph Curry not one of the 5 to 7 best players of this generation?
Yeah, I just think that I understand why he said what he said, but it doesn't make any fucking sense.
Okay, then you explain to me, because to me he
was saying
he
is that
single-handedly revolutionized the game of basketball.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He changed the way the game is played.
100%. No arguments this side for Steph Curry. Absolutely, I love him. I just think that MJ is because the question he answered before was would you take the same 4 guys with you to the in the finals? Like if you had to pick a team today, who would it be? He's like, I'd for sure take the same 4 guys. So it'd be Pippen, Kerr, I guess Kukoc, and Rodman.
Or Grant. I guess Rodman.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so at first I was thinking the first team, and I was like, that team would get smoked.
Yeah.
Rodman and Kerr makes it a
Yeah,
fairer.
He said he would take those guys, and then he's like, really not even Curry, and he's like, oh Curry, yeah, he's good, but he's not a Hall of Famer yet. That's
so on that team. Who guards Kevin Durant? Because was he
Pippen.
referring to?
Pippen.
Okay, and then when Kevin Durant, without jumping, shoots a jumper over his head.
I think Kevin Durant's a better player than Scottie Pippen.
Like Scottie Pippen was great.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
the game's different. Blah.
Just like
Next
Gary
up.
Bettman.
I'll be watching you.
Wadding you.
I'll be watching you.
Wadding you.
I'll be watching you.
So-
JJ Watt's girlfriend sneaks a peek on his text. So during the
JJ Watt is a
during
good
the
name.
Astros game, I caught this. I was watching, and at one point he's on his phone, and this girl legit keeps looking over every 5 seconds, and it was just the most obvious thing ever. And the camera to their
Better.
and the thing is they just kept staring at it. They kept going back at it too.
Yeah, cameraman knows what's up.
First of all, she's a fucking rocket. The girl.
Mhm.
She's unbelievable.
Houston Rocket.
Yeah. And it's just funny
See
that
what
they
she did there?
caught her like motherfucker. Who the hell's looking?
But so
You know
like
what I mean?
first of
It's
all,
also JJ Watt.
if you don't have all your sensitive texts on silent, come on, bro. Next thing. I blame this on baseball. Your game is slow. JJ Watt checking his phone, and this is the best version of baseball. Speed it up. Let's go.
Next,
Joe Burrow's ass. Newspaper demands that CBS apologize for showing Joe Burrow's butt on TV.
Yeah. So
First of all, you don't gotta apologize for that ass.
so his pants are getting ripped down, and then all of a sudden, they just start laughing at his ass, and then some random fucking newspaper in Louisiana says CBS should apologize for talking about Joe Burrow's ass. That if it was a girl, they would never have talked about it like that.
It's
Which
not,
is also
though,
true.
Which makes it different.
Which is true, though.
Makes it a very
But it's a different case.
Yeah, and they didn't even say anything bad. They just said, "Oh, looky here," or something
So-
stupid.
So were they sexualizing Burrows?
Yes.
No,
We just sexualized Burrows. But did they sexualize Burrows?
Oh man, that guy's a nice ass.
Seriously, he's a rocket.
He's a good-looking guy. Yeah, he is a rocket. He's a fucking man rocket.
Yeah.
is what-
Really, we're falling
Yeah,
apart.
the guy that's just sitting there talking. Weighed down by an Aguilar. There's no description, so I suppose something about.
Yeah, so there's
Nelson
an easily
Aguilar.
catchable ball that was thrown to Nelson Aguilar, and then a new angle came out today showing it was even more catchable than we thought because the coach's footage came out showing the all-11.
He really gave up.
Oh my God!
Yeah, it was bad. It was really bad.
So,
But that's another thing that, like, the whole thing with Lane Johnson he was talking about. You know, it's they're just not into it, man.
Aguilar's
Something's
he's so
missing.
immensely talented for a guy that can't catch.
And didn't you just get called out by a guy who saved a bunch of babies?
Yeah, seriously.
Not
Like,
like
a little more
Aguilar.
effort. A little effort.
Not
You know,
like
tell you
Aguilar.
what.
Not like
If some
Aguilar.
burning baby just falling out of the sky, you don't want Aguilar running
Oh
after
my
them. He'd
God.
give up halfway.
Not like fucking Buckner and Curb Your Enthusiasm. He caught that baby. Nobody knows what I'm talking about.
Next.
I think that's it.
No, we have red receipt.
I
Chris
don't know.
Mortensen reports that
receipts.
Antonio Brown's grievance to the reoccupant part of his $30 million guarantee took a hit when text messages were discovered where he continually asked for release. Can I know why you guys don't use fucking commas or periods?
Chris Mortensen reports
Dying
that
here,
Antonio
man.
Brown's grievance to recuperate part of his $30 million guarantee took a hit when
Recuperate.
text messages were discovered when he continually asked for release.
Yeah, but you added commas. There ain't no commas in there,
I
but
just read it.
that's because
I
you wrote
read
it.
the
That's
same
because you're the
thing.
one that fucking
You
wrote
can
it.
also write your own.
Add a comma. You're worse than Terry's articles.
I don't
Oh,
think
yeah, my articles
No,
are bad.
no one is. No
I
one
was
is.
looking at some of the titles for my articles.
Yes,
There's a typo in one of the titles.
Yes.
of course. That's why you didn't post it
And
anywhere.
I think it's like a THE, and I missed the E.
TEH.
It's the, but I missed the E.
How do you fuck up a title? You're the only person I know.
You're the editor.
It's true. You're the editor.
Yeah.
So Antonio Brown, maybe just don't. If you're gonna sue for this, maybe don't text. Also, Antonio Brown should stop texting. Every time he texts,
anytime
absolutely.
your phone
his
is
case
on,
got worse.
I just killed a spider.
But I was actually surprised that Mark Davis had anything but a flip phone.
I just killed a spider.
Maybe he saved it in his flip phone. It
don't
wasn't
tell
saved on the
Peter.
cloud. It was like saved on his phone.
Yeah.
Locally saved. Nice.
Yeah, that's
Red
why. That's why. Like Antonio Brown tried like higher services to get that shit gone. Instead, he's got his old Razor phone.
You don't mess.
Bam,
you
saved.
don't mess with the guy that gets a $5 haircut and coaches and flies coach.
Well, to
you
be
just
fair, he
don't
got a
fuck with
$5
that guy.
haircut because he couldn't afford Khalil Mack. Let's never forget that.
Yeah. Also, apparently they're going to be trading for Vic Beasley.
Okay.
So I mean, it's something.
Next.
Next, yes. Last one, officially ridiculous. Pat McAfee had some strong feelings about the NFL officials.
So yeah,
Oh, I
unfortunately,
saw
we
this.
can't play this. The sound was awesome. It was epic. Pat McAfee.
Well, we probably can. It's gonna take us a couple seconds to do it.
Just
Pat,
fuck it.
Pat McAfee went on
Oh,
a rant.
fuck
He was saying that essentially, and this is an interesting point. He was saying that specifically, he kept referring to him as Alberto Riveron, which I really liked. But Alberto Riveron was a trash official. Why would he be a good head of officials? And the thing is that all the networks have poached the best best referees to
Yeah.
work
For
for their
them.
networks.
Because it's
and
better
less
money.
referees.
It's better money to
better
work
Because
for
it's
the
much better money. The NFL, you make so much money. Why do you have part-time employees as your
And you work
referees?
once a week. You don't even have to travel.
Because
Like,
you can fire them, I suppose. I guess that's probably
they're
what
not
it
really
is, right?
getting the best of the best, is what it is.
But they aren't. They're not attracting the best of the best because again, like these are all part-time. They're the only professional sports league with part-time employees at the most important position.
But they had spoken about it a few years ago, saying that they were going to go full time with physical tests and all this stuff, and they never really followed through with it.
it's because it's money.
I
You
get
know?
it, but it's money well spent.
But the thing is, it's affecting the product. It's affecting the safety of players on the
Yeah.
game. It's affecting the watch. Like, dude, it's so hard to watch, man.
Wasn't it you saying Duke, that you don't even need refs on the field?
No, I don't think you do.
You don't
But
need two
do.
guys carrying
I
a
think
chain,
guys, a
first
couple
of all.
not guys in the
okay,
scrum.
yeah.
Maybe guys that you need a guy in a scrum, but I fit feel like you don't. A lot of it can be
Let him fight
automated.
it out.
It can be
What's a
automated.
ref gonna do? What's a ref? Like seriously,
The chains
a
part,
monster,
I kind
a monster
of
like Khalil
understand.
Canvas wants to hit somebody, he's gonna hit somebody.
There's just too many fucking refs on the field.
The
There's a lot.
At all times.
There's like 6. The
It's
chains part I
ridiculous.
understand, but I feel that it's not. It's still something that you need because you can still make a. It's something that's so. Fuck, I can't. But I'm trying to think of the word.
The calls are so ticky tacky now
Yeah,
that
that's-
it's the most ticky tacky.
Yeah, I'm not talking about the calls. I'm talking about taking away refs. So if you take away refs,
Yes,
you
less
take away
ticky-tack.
you take away that human aspect that you have.
But why
about
can't it
football.
be a guy in the booth making all the calls with all the angles we have on TV?
Sky Judge.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. Yeah, for sure. That makes
That's
sense.
a great name. He should be called Sky Judge.
Sky Judge.
Or Sky.
He watches the game in a blimp,
Space Force,
and he's wearing a judge's outfit.
and in the
Fucking
blimp
awesome.
is just a bunch of porns, like the 75 best porn films of all
Imagine
time.
how quickly does a ref get fired for watching porn instead of the game?
Oh my!
How quickly does that happen?
Probably not as quick as you would think.
yeah.
Like, oh, turn that off, man. Okay.
Unless, of course,
What happened on that fumble?
it was Colin Kaepernick. Thank you all for watching.
Nah,
Thank you,
you're
Terry
fucking
Tam, for
terrible.
joining me. Thanks, Duke, for doing the job of two people, although doing both poorly. You've been listening to Hot Sauce Sports.